All right, part two. Good afternoon, good evening, and good day. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. It's still morning, amazingly. Now, uh, let's finish reconfiguring this video stream and save. Back. Do we have a feed? It says connected to go live. That ain't good. Wait, I see a picture. Let's flip these switches on the audio. Or actually, let's see how it sounds first. Not bad. So, I'm not sure. Let's just... Okay. So I don't know what happened there. The video just cut out, and then YouTube said they weren't receiving anything. And Ender says that we're back on X. Excellent. And YouTube is receiving us, so that's good. I don't know. Like I said, that sort of unreliability of the program software platform situation is enough to make me roll my own. So we will work on that. Excellent. Thank you, Anders. And so we were looking at, and I don't even think I can share the window that way on this one. I was looking for the opinion of that installer on the Tesla rackless system now. I wonder if Tesla will go into solar photovoltaic manufacturing as well to de-risk against China. Did you watch the video, Mr. Cyberstruck? It's right there. The improvement on quality or reduction in price that will help the product receive. Yeah. All right. So let's do this. Let's like open up a new window. What is this? Move this over to the screen so that we can get it together. The historical day today, I just don't know which one. Looks like U.S. Army nurses arrive in Greenstock, Scotland, 1944. Ah, World War II. Why am I not signed in? How can I have points if I'm not signed in? Yeah, do it. Okay. Now, who did we do last week? Control Enter. There we go. And we're just going to browse the headlines real quick, looking for something similar to what I feel I put in the notebook or is worth just discussing. So we're going to close this X tab and oh, I still had some stuff left over from last week. Yeah, I definitely want to still talk about some of that. All right, so we will close this one and this one is definitely worth a discussion if it is what it seems like. I never did get to it last week because the program ended us. So let's go to close that. Scout didn't expect this. Nearly all of its electric truck buyers want a gas engine. So that sounds like Scout's buyers are not previous EV owners, obviously, or they all plan to tow long distances. 25 EVs range test in extreme cold. US used EVs are the cheapest cars to own. Yes, they are. We'll look at that study because that's right on board. Dealerships are shady. Man says Texas Toyota dealership agreed to sell her Highlander hybrid for $26,900 and then jacked up the price. But yeah, I saw. I'll get to it in a minute. Can we still track the police? They never really could. It was up to the other drivers on the road putting it in there. I didn't know this was so common. Truck hits Subaru in Disneyland garage and runs. They didn't expect Tesla to get the footage. Then the story we're about to paste in about charging etiquette. And where'd my mouse go? There. Cattle says ultra fast charging won't kill its new battery. That's worth looking at. 2026 EV Blazer SS has one big problem that GM can't ignore. I'm curious what it is. EVs are quietly cleaning up the air. This new study proves it. We'll look at that for sure. Americans are warming up to robotaxis, but only when they show up in their cities. Yeah, I mean, don't you kind of have to see them in action to know if you feel comfortable with them? I'm going to skip that story. Slate aspires to launch more vehicles after its two-door pickup, CEO says. Yeah, they haven't been shy about that. Consumers truly have no clue who makes good EVs, according to a report. Rivian R2, everything we know. We're going to skip that. More TikTok stories. One of the scariest moments of my life. Woman sits in a Tesla that drives itself to an Ace Hardware. Living in a small town. Woman gets Tesla, then realizes no fast charging stations. Also got the car in a rush. Man buys Tesla for 17, then has a change of heart. Well, 17 means unless he bought it used, he didn't buy it straight from Tesla, so that'll be interesting. What does it cost to drive a Tesla from NorCal to SoCal? California woman just found out the hard way. Sounds like she hit all the expensive stations. Greetings from Arizona. Good evening, or good morning. It's not morning for you anymore, is it? Good noon. Good day, Timothy. Good to see you. And sorry about the previous feed. I don't know what happened with the streaming software. Woman plugs in Tesla with 110 miles of charge at Wawa, and then it immediately dies, locking her in. There was no air circulation. That sounds something like what happened with ours when it decided the battery was no good, even though it probably was. We'll see what she says and discuss that. Volvo CEO thinks the market is perfect for EVs. He has a point. Small Skoda might become one of Europe's most popular EVs. We'll look at that. And how much range EVs really lose after 150,000 miles? Depends on the battery. All right, I think that is a good start. So let's go ahead and get the sharing screen back on and close this one. Oh, I didn't want to close this one because I had one to paste. So unclose it, paste and go, and share screen. Google Chrome would like to record this computer screen and audio. Okay. It should have already had that permission. Oh, where's that? Locked contacts, Apple Intelligence, sensitive content warning. It's not requesting anything. Is it just reminding me? Oh, Google Chrome got the little switch turned off. Turn it back on. Hey, too smart for their own good. I can't quit and reopen it. I'm using it. Let's see. Let's see what it does. I'm hoping it's just because it not for the own tabs, but for the I don't need it to share windows or anything else. But okay, looks like we'll be okay. Yeah, we can share tabs. We just can't share other windows. That's fine. I don't need the other features at the moment. All right, there we go. Perfect. Tons of news for sure. Absolutely, always. Comment about these journalists and politicians that are always sort of casting doubt on EVs. Absolutely, yeah. That's what you say. What you need to say. I bet every one of those doubters has several friends and relatives that have EVs and love EVs, and they're just sort of pretending it's not happening. Absolutely. I'd like to talk about how a certain family member of mine would always say that EVs can't go far, and yet I'd be on a 1,000-mile journey to come visit and be like, "Hey, I didn't snap my fingers and show up here. We drove here in the EV." So, yeah. Okay, so next we're going to look at. Looks like it's going to be one of their TikTok articles, and we're going to look and see about the etiquette issue here. I don't know if this is a real photo or what. I mean, it looks like a real photo. What I'm saying is, one, that's not a supercharger, and two, it's suggesting they're in Europe. This is some ... I've never seen this before. Ever since Tesla opened supercharging network to EVs it doesn't manufacture, there have been mixed reactions. While the maneuver has helped those who don't drive Teslas to get quick charges when they're out on the road, there has been a growing outcry against EVs not designed to be used on superchargers taking up multiple spaces to plug in their cars. And that still doesn't tell us where we are, because that's all around the world. One Tesla owner shared what they thought was a particularly egregious example of stall stonewalling. TikTok user Varun Padmala uploaded 2 clips detailing his disdain for a F-150 Lightning driver who took up multiple supercharger stations to power their battery. Tesla knows about this. This is real. In the first, the TikToker expresses disbelief with the truck. I'm here at this Tesla supercharger, and I don't usually get mad or irritated when other non-Tesla EVs use the charger because they usually park in a pretty good manner. Yeah, I get it. You take up a couple spots, you block a spot because you don't have the charger on the right spot. Okay, so far it sounds like he understands. But look at this. He says, turn the camera to show the Lightning parked across 3 superchargers. Okay. Yes, baby. What? Where? Behind me. Be careful. Why to walk away, Daddy? I think so that we should hear. Oh. I don't know what's going on over here. Hello, Chop Frog. Good to see you. Good. Mommy's gonna make chicken sticks? Mommy's gonna make chicken sticks? Belly button. Okay, so but look at this. He says turn the camera so the Lightning over 3 stalls. That's one thing it does say in your Charge My Non-Tesla section of the app. It says don't use multiple stalls. In his follow-up video, the poster shows how he got his revenge. Recording from the interior of his Tesla, he says, so that Lightning is blocking like all the spots pretty much on the side of the charger. So what I did was I parked right in front of it. There's another Tesla over there. So not my problem. Non-Tesla supercharger hate. One commenter who replied to Patmala's video expressed how disappointed they were to see Tesla's level 3 charging network become available for other vehicles to use. I hate to admit, I wish Tesla didn't get other cars to the superchargers if they weren't going to make the necessary mods to accommodate. So in Germany, it's done. Every supercharger is a long cable supercharger in Germany, aka what Tesla sells as V4, but is not a V4 native. So it would be nice to see them prioritize doing that at the Charge Your Non-Tesla sites here in North America. Ouch, baby. Why are you bopping me in the head? And your hands are like super wet. You spit on your hands again? Yeah? Who's that? Is that you? Is that Makoto? Right there. Is that you? All right. Another commenter said they weren't a fan of Tesla supercharger design. That's because the Ford charging port is on the other side. Also, the Tesla's charging wire is too short. Yeah, so the V3s are perfect for everything but the Cybertruck, and they still work on Cybertruck. So they need to get the V4s out, the V4 natives with the 1,000-volt native for Hyundai, Porsche, Hummer, and others. But they also need to get the Lucid. They need to get the long cables out so that this is doesn't keep happening. There was one commenter who didn't seem to have any sympathy for trucks who block multiple spaces and suggested that they would make retaliatory action upon seeing so many charging stalls blocked out by a single EV. Yeah, they'd have a flat tire, they wrote. Hopefully that's just keyboard warrior talk. Do not touch people's tires. Do not touch people's cars. You could call it a tow truck, but come on now. That's one thing I do like about most of the charger non-Tesla supercharger sites is that they are set up to I say that they typically do not have an abundance of cars to the point where they're full of Teslas all the time. So they can lose one or two spots to a non-Tesla occasionally. Yes. What's wrong? You want to take your shirt off? Why? You got a face covered in yogurt. You want to wear the unicorns? Huh? Why do you need to take your shirt off? It's cold outside. Please don't eat that. It's my video feed. Not good for you to eat that. Yeah, hi. Here, let's put it behind you. That way it's not tempting to you. There. Yeah. Yeah, so gotta be mindful of, golden rule. There have been other Tesla owners who have stated how disgruntled they feel when seeing non-Teslas utilize the brand's massive level 3 charging network. I haven't had any bad experiences yet. I enjoy seeing the very first day. Oh, I still have to finish that video. Very first day that we charged at the Manning supercharger, there was I want to say it was a Blazer EV, might have been an Equinox EV, right there. There were 45 other stalls open, so we didn't feel let out in any way. And that was a V4 dispenser on a V3 Plus cabinet. It was not a V4 native. All right, so let's go on to the next one then. And we'll share this tab instead. Oh, good. Chrome has finally copied that option. Let go of my cable. And used EVs are the cheapest cars to own. That is absolutely true. The video cable to these glasses is sleeved, and so she is grabbing it. It makes a weird sound in my ear. Used EVs are the cheapest cars to own, according to a study by whom? Researchers that use electric vehicles say that used electric vehicles now have the lowest TCO, far outperforming both new and used gas cars. Good. Put that behind you. How'd you get in front of you again? Tickle, 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 tickle. Used electric cars, the best option. A study from the University of Michigan found that the used EVs can save owners as much as $13,000 during the car's lifetime. Not bad. Huge monthly car payments are now a thing in the United States, with 20% of Americans having agreed to pay over $1,000 each month for a new car loan. That's the thing for sure. But. That can be incredibly stressful in a household's budget, but a new research shows that there are cars out there that cost a lot less to purchase outright. And more importantly, will save you money as time goes on. Yeah. Ah. Oh, you talking too? Okay. I'm going to left-hand mouse this ergonomic right-hand mouse. All right. Used EVs are now the cheapest cars in the world to own, according to a 10-year vehicle life period. According to a new study from the University of Michigan, published in Environmental Research Letters, in short, 3-year-old electric mid-sized SUV can save an average lifetime savings of $13,000 to a new gas-powered mid-sized SUV. Meanwhile, a used gas SUV from the same category can deliver lifetime savings of just $3,000 over a new one, I assume. What is she done? Okay. Well, the lock ring on this microphone was spinning free. Transportation is the second largest portion of the average household budget, and the new vehicle market. In the new vehicle market, used EVs are usually more expensive. And Maxwell Woody, the lead author of the study, Woody is a research assistant at University of Michigan for Sustainable Systems, or CSS, and the School for Environment and Sustainability, or Cs. But 70% of all vehicle purchases are used, and used EVs have the lowest TCO across vehicle classes. Yeah, telling us what we already knew, I guess. She sounds a little congested. I don't know why. Let's see now. Let's go to the comments. Yeah? Oh, really? No? All right, Shindig says this bears out my experience. Purchased a 2020 Bolt almost 2 years ago, and when it came time to replace our Sonata, selling the Sonata paid for the electricity upgrades and 200 amp service, the EVSE purchase and install, and still had cash left over. We only drive it on average around 13,000 miles a year. Using the U.S. Department of Energy calculator, our annual cost for electricity is around $440, which is pretty much what I calculate. Sonata is the same mileage, about 21 miles per gallon, which is what it would get on average. Costs around $2,000 per year, while our gas prices running on average $3.25 per gallon. Used EVs make a lot of sense. How to use Bolt? Private sale. Total cost, including registration, $10,100. Replacement battery had 20,000 miles on it, so basically a new car for 10 grand. Not a bad price. What are you doing with my watch charger? And in 3 years, citizens of the United States can enjoy secondhand Canadian Chinese vehicles for rock bottom prices. This is true. Don't eat that. It's a charger, baby. You don't need to eat that. Hurt yourself. Talking about the puck for the Samsung watch. Got a 3D printed holder on the desk, and somehow she got a hold of it. I don't even know how it's supposed to go in there anymore. It was in there straight, and now it's not. I guess I'll tape it in there later. It was much more snug fit the other day. No, it's not yours. Stop it. I put the watch on it, but then she'll just take the watch and chew on it. All right, now let's go to the next one. Yes. I'm glad I got the one that was just the inversion of the previous microphone arm I had, because if I got that cool looking, just flat swivel one, it wouldn't be able to keep up with these girls. Ouch. Ah! What are you pulling my beard for? Ow. Yes, how can I help you? Gentle, no? Got my glasses. Close the screensaver. All right, there we go. Now, what I was trying to do was go to the next tab. This one isn't really us, but the premise was interesting to me about can Waze really track the police? Or still track the police, I should say. Ow. Oh. Why are you being so mean to me? Mm. Mm. Clap, 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 clap. High five. Okay. Can they still track the police? They never could. Waze may have reached a point where we have to look back on the good old days of Waze. That's one conclusion to draw from viral TikTok clip showing a Waze user pulled over by flashing police lights, clearly indicating that the app isn't as reliable as it once was at avoiding the fuzz. It's garbage in, garbage out. My favorite is when the cops are using Waze and they sit there and report themselves. Those are obviously the good community types. They aren't really trying to run a speed trap. They are trying to, I guess, to get their community to slow down, which is fine. What? Oh, why did you? Whoa, hold on. Careful. Huh? Hmm. Hmm. You good? The microphone, or the headphone cable's got a little bit of coily, springy to it, and it went across her neck and startled her. She was fine, but when she was crying, it scared me. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" But she'd had it wrapped. The clip from the TikToker. Da, da, da. Oh yeah, so the police that log themselves, like, yeah, and then if they're like, well, if I catch you now, then. But basically, he was pointing out that when he puts himself like police reported in, everybody slows down, so he doesn't have to take the time to write the tickets. And I thought that was a fun little clip. We sold the bag. Elements forced to chuckle. Something disappointed by the performance of the app. Had a reputation for helping motorists avoid speed traps and police cruisers lurking on the roadways. I was more concerned about object on road ed than the police, but yeah, it was nice to know them as well, so you could just keep it in check. Let go of my cord, please. Let go. Let go. Thank you. Okay, now that's that has satisfied my curiosity. It's enough. Let's go to this one. We're looking at Cattle. CATL says that ultra fast charging won't kill its new battery cell. They say that this new 5C batteries will retain 80% capacity after being fast charged for 1.1 million miles. 5C. So we're talking a 100 kilowatt hour battery charged in the same amount of time that everybody else would be charging a 500 kilowatt hour battery. No, yeah. Anyway, it's 5x the capacity times charge or discharge. Most batteries can discharge 3C easy and can charge 1.5 to 2C no problem. 3C is a good battery, and you don't really see too many of them that go to 4C, and 5 is new. That's super fast. The extra durability comes from new materials in the battery cell and smarter thermal management. We don't know when it'll reach production, or who will use it, or what it will perform in real world conditions. Well, if you put in some trucks, you could use those megawatt chargers. Same for a ship, When browsing used electric vehicles, you may have noticed that cars advertised as never having been fast charged command higher prices. I have not noticed that. EV batteries tend to lose capacity at accelerated rate if they see frequent DC fast charging, and replacing the entire pack runs into the tens of thousands. Excuse me. That might be true for some of them, like the Nissan Leaf. But most EV packs are built to handle a couple fast charging sessions just fine. Why do I smell cigarette smoke? What is she doing? We don't have cigarettes here, so it's not what I'm smelling. Google Chrome is requesting to bypass the system private window picker and directly access your screen and audio. That's for my screen sharing request. We'll allow it. Maybe it's spices. Yeah, because unless you're just a smoker in the house, they wouldn't smell like that, and you would hear them. So, I wonder what she's making. And what herbs would do that? Cattle says the 5C batteries will retain 80% of their capacity after 1,400 charge cycles. Charge discharge cycles, so that's 20 to 80%. 1,400 times, or is it 0 to 100? I guess it depends on who's doing the. You good? You good? One more? More? She grabbed my hand and put it on her face so she could. Yeah? Her hands are so small compared to mine that when she tries to return the favor, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's me. So anyway, the theoretical range of 372 miles per cycle, that works out to 522,000 miles in what Cattle describes as Dubai summer heat. That sounds pretty warm. Try to use a 360 camera stick instead of the mouse. Milder ambient temperature of 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 C, is closer to the ideal operating temperature for lithium-ion batteries. Cattle says that the main battery will retain at least 80% capacity after 3,000. There we go. That's a more normal number. 3,000 to 5,000 cycles is what I'm used to hearing, not 1,400. 2,000 is considered good. Yes, how can I help you? What's up, Chop Truck? What's going on? Are you hungry? No, you don't want popcorn? You usually do want popcorn. You want whatever you smell in the kitchen, I know. Give it some time. That's how it works. You smell it, and then you wait for what feels like forever, and then you get to consume it. Yes. Okay, so they were made possible by a dense and uniform cathode coating that reduces degradation, as well as a repair additive incorporated into the liquid electrolyte that's meant to seal cracks and reduce lithium loss. And by loss, I mean, I assume they mean like, so it's not getting dendritic or just coming loose from the array there. It's still inside the battery. It doesn't evaporate out or anything. Kettle says that special temperature responsive agents are sprayed on the surface of the separator inside each battery cell, also extend the life of the battery. Okay. Can't wait to see it and for everybody else to copy it. All right. Moving on. Let's look at the comments real quick before we get there. There are no comments? I doubt that. Oh, it says make a comment. So there are no comments. Interesting. Yes, baby. What's up? All right, let's look at the blazer. sleepy? You look sleepy. You want to just close your eyes, take a nap? You feel better, I promise you. Yeah, she's trying to get comfortable, take a nap. All right, so the Blazer SS has one big problem that GM can't ignore. It's plenty fast, but it's got one huge disadvantage compared to its rivals, which is what? Go faster, troublemaker, or automaker, not troublemaker, sorry. Dun, 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 historic badge. Is it the name? Is the name the issue? Are you trying to eat my yogurt? My oatmeal? Yeah, she looked back and mischievously. Here. I was going to eat that later, but you can have it now. She likes to let the oatmeal get a little cold. Then she grabs it in chunks like bread. Let it fall off the spoon. She's like, I want it off the spoon. I'm doing it myself. Use your shirt for a napkin because you're going to change this anyway soon. All right. Anyway, so the Blazer SS, the Cadillac Lyric V, which the Blazer EV SS shares a platform with, and smaller optic V. 61 grand costs substantially more than the base LT trim, but it still is a performance bargain compared to pricey caddies. Excuse me. And spent a full week with it. General Motors gave it to him for a little bit. Use a V3 Plus supercharger. Yeah. Right behind the wheel. Handling is middling at best. Okay, is it the handling? Straight line ferocity. It's an American car. It's a muscle car. Straight line performance. At normal speeds, stiffer springs keep the SUV flat and composed, with the brake late into a corner with a more aggressive turn-in. Feels more like a sumo wrestler attempting a ballet. The reason for that is its curb weight. More than 5 tons of it. Really? Wow, it's heavier than my car. Isn't it? 5 tons. I'm at 58 pounds. So yeah, it's way heavier than my vehicle. So I'm at 2 tons is 4,000 pounds. So I'm at 2.5 tons. Why does this little compact SUV weigh so much more than my minivan? Wow. It's got a 102 kilowatt hour battery pack, and I've got 100. Well, 100 nameplate, so I don't see the problem. Model Y performance tips the scales at 4466 pounds. That's lighter than my Model S. My Model S was 48 pounds. Wait, no, that's heavier than that. Yeah, it's lighter than my Model S. My Model S was 48, so it was almost 400 pounds lighter. Ma'am, you want some more oatmeal on your spoon? Here, I got this for you. You dropped it on the floor. Here. I just helped her guide it into the mouth because I didn't want another chunk of oatmeal on the floor. Let's see. The Mach-E Raleigh weighs in at 5,016 pounds. The Chevy Blazer EV weighs them all at a hefty 5,730 pounds. How did you get 5 tons? You know, a ton is, are these metric tons? The ton is 2,000 pounds. And it doesn't weigh more than mine. It just weighs almost as much as it, because I'm at 58. And this thing is close. Putting itself in Ford F-250 Super Duty category. Yeah, it's a heavy minivan. Sure, it's also slightly longer and roomier inside than other performance EVs, but it's still firmly on the porky end of the spectrum. How long has it been since you drove an old Model X performance? Can you stop hitting me with a dirty spoon? Well, don't hit yourself. That doesn't hurt you. Give me that spoon, please. Give that to Daddy, please. Thank you. Okay, but stop hitting people with it. Thank you. Best space. Yeah. All right. Ironically, the Blazer EV SS is the happiest when driven calmly on smooth pavement. Really, you don't say. You okay? She's covered in oatmeal. Yeah. Yes. Hit my thigh. Like, hey, you. Hey, you. Range and charge speeds. Okay, so that was really all I wanted to see was what his complaint was. And it seems the complaint is that it's heavy. Super Cruise, he likes. Dynamically, all three rivals are significantly better than the Blazer. So yeah, just the suspension and the heavy weight. It's a crossover, you know. If you don't live near bumpy roads like I do, the firm ride won't bother you much, and if cornering precision isn't high on your priority list, the Blazer will happily rocket you back and forth on your daily commute with abandon. But if you're off chasing outright thrills and more cohesive performance, you're better off looking elsewhere. So, just the suspension and the weight. That's fine. Moving on. Share this tab instead. Close that. EVs are quietly cleaning up the air. This study proves it. California's EV boom led to cleaner air in neighborhoods, with satellite data linking linking this growth to lower NOx pollution. Okay. Researchers used satellite data to see how much nitrogen dioxide was in California's air between 2019 and 2023. As the number of electric cars and plug-in hybrids rose, neighborhoods had lower NOx concentration. Everybody knows that electric cars don't emit carbon emissions because they don't burn any fuel. And there are some studies out there that show how zero emission cars can improve the quality of air in urban areas. They weren't always definitive. Now, though, a new study from the University of Southern California's Keck School of Medicine, you might say, well, why is the medicine school looking at EVs? Because bad air quality can give you things like childhood asthma, adult asthma issues, various cancers, all the bad stuff. Now, even though a study from published in the Lancet Planetary Health, a new study pulled high-resolution satellite data from the Tropospheric Monitoring Instrument, or TROPME, that can detect nitrogen dioxide in the atmosphere by measuring how the gas absorbs and reflects sunlight, according to phys.org. The data was used to calculate the annual average NOx levels in each California neighborhood from 2019 to 2023. At the same time, publicly available data from the State Department of Motor Vehicles was thrown into the mix, specifically the number of zero-emission vehicles that were registered in each neighborhood. As a reminder, ZEVs include electric cars, plug-in hybrids, and fuel cell cars. Now, the fuel cell cars do have emissions. They do change the way things work a little bit because their emissions are hydrogen and oxygen and water vapor. Because they don't always burn 100% clean. They usually do, but not always. And so free hydrogen will react with anything, and that makes some chemicals. Not as bad as a gas car burning stuff. It's my brother. I'll call him back. Let's see. NOx was released when fossil fuels are burned and can trigger asthma attacks because bronchitis cause bronchitis and increase the risk of heart attack and heart disease and stroke. In other words, it's very bad. Yes, you knew this. So, what did all this data show? For every 200 new zero emission vehicles registered in California neighborhood between 2019 and 2023, NOx levels dropped 1.1%. That's not bad. You'd think it'd be higher drop though. 200 every 200 vehicles, it drops 1.1%. Typical neighborhood added 272 EVs, with most neighborhoods gaining between 18 and 839 EVs. There you go. Over the study period, the ZEV market share increased from 2 to 5% of all light duty vehicles across California. I think she's taking a nap. These findings show that cleaner air isn't just a theory, it's already happening in communities across California. All right, I like this. So I'm going to paste this article in the chat because it goes in very well with what Timothy was saying about people saying that that is not happening. Well, if the motivation is environmentalism, there it is. And if the motive is saving money, I've been doing that for years here, so I don't think we need an article for that. Okay, so let's continue on. No comments on that one? Really? I think that'd be worth a comment. All right. Honestly, got the car in a rush. Man buys used Tesla for 17 grand. Has a change of heart. It's very annoying, he says. Buying EV often feels like a leap of faith, especially when it's a used one. After 6 months behind the wheel of a 19 Model 3, owner says he finally had a concrete opinion on whether the purchase was worth it. His answer wasn't regret, but isn't blind enthusiasm either. In the viral clip, Jimmy has a long list of positive thoughts about his hurried purchase of the pre-owned Tesla, though there are some minor qualms, like having to plan charging time for weekend getaways around Texas. Do you not have charging at home? Are you going places in the middle of a charging desert? That's the only two times you got to think about charging a Tesla. I charge for free at work. Ah, there you go. So I don't pay anything for gas except if I go on a road trip. Not having to pay for gas has definitely saved me $1,200 this year. He said in the clip it's been viewed more than 27,000 times. Biggest gripe I have is charging on road trips, right? It's not even just about getting to your destination. And Jimmy said the numbers were ultimately what made the decision feel justified. He negotiated the price down about 20,000 and then qualified for federal used clean vehicle tax credit, bringing his effective cost closer to 17. That credit, worth up to $4,000 for eligible used EVs, applies only to vehicles purchased from licensed dealers and is subject to income and price caps under IRS rules outlined by the Treasury Department. Well, it was. It's gone now. Politics. For many commenters, that combination of timing and incentives was the most striking part of the story. Several expressed disbelief that the car included Tesla's full self-driving software. They didn't price it correctly. He got lucky. Previously cost as much as $15,000 before Tesla shifted to a subscription-only base model. Today, Tesla offers FSD at $99 per month in the US, though pricing feature availability has changed over the years. For Jimmy, daily ownership remains largely reinforced EV's appeal to urban and suburban drivers with predictable routines. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, home or workplace charging is where EV ownership tends to deliver its greatest cost advantages over gasoline vehicles. Before savings, he highlighted the convenience features that become standard talking points: driver profiles, automatic adjust seats, cabin preconditioning, mobile app, streaming audio, video. Also said full self-driving made long highway trips between Austin and Houston and Dallas significantly less fatiguing, and particularly in unfamiliar traffic patterns. Oh man, I love traveling with FSD. You just have to watch for doing stupid stuff rather than have to understand what's going on in every small town you go through with their historic layouts. Those sentiments were echoed by many commenters who said similar features made them reluctant to return to ICE, even when accounting for EV trade-offs. Clearest downside that Jimmy identified centered on charging logistics once he reached his destination. He said the car can comfortably make the drive from Austin to Houston on a single charge, but that freedom diminishes once he arrives. If you know anything about Houston, you're going to be driving a lot. I just want to enjoy time on vacation. It's very annoying. I have to consider charging my car. All right, so there's a new software feature for this. I say new, it came out last year. Um, what you do is you put in your destination, and then you go to edit your trip. And in the trip, you say what amount of energy you want to have for driving around when you get there. So you say, I want 40%, 30%, and the car will make sure that it doesn't just land you there at 5%, so you're not having to spend 30 minutes charging when you just want to be out of the car because you're where you're trying to go. So uh, you'll do that if where you're going isn't equipped with charging, or if you know you'll be doing a quick turnaround when you get there. So, pro tip: set destination arrival energy level. Yes. Distinction between reaching a destination and freely moving around once there is a recurring theme in EV ownership surveys. While Tesla's supercharger network remains one of the most extensive and reliable fast charging networks in North America, destination charging availability can vary widely depending on launching. Yeah, so definitely want to use that feature, and I'm glad they put it in there. I've used it a few times myself because my car will want to land me in a charging desert with 20% and be like, yeah, have fun, or 5%. Yeah, no, I'm not going to park here with 5% and then have you just randomly adjust the battery level while we're out, and then, oh, you got 0 miles, 0%. Good luck getting to a charger. So prior to the feature's introduction last year, I would have to manually look at the trip planner, where you put in the map, say, let's go. I'd have to manually stop at that last stop or add a stop to make sure that we didn't have to do those considerations. And now is built in. It's on the map. It's not as discoverable as it should be, obviously, uh, based on this, or it's a really old TikTok that they just found. I'm guessing that it's not as discoverable as it needs to be because you have to go in to edit your trip. Several commenters pushed back, adding that short charging stops were a minor inconvenience, while others agreed that even small disruptions can feel like magnified during leisure travel. Yeah, if you get where you're going and you're empty, and you still want to drive some more, yeah, I agree, and that's why the feature is there. But having to stop one extra time, not a big deal. Or stay for an extra 10 minutes at one of the stops, or 5 extra minutes at both of the stops. No problem. Reliability and range debates. As with many Tesla videos, the comment section quickly expanded into a broader debate about long-term reliability. Some users reported negative experiences with earlier Model 3 builds, citing issues including interior noise, screen freezes, and seat sensor failures. Range degradation over time. Oh, and range degradation over time. Others countered that such experiences were outliers or limited to specific production periods. Tesla does not publish granular failure rate by model year, but it offers an 8-year to 100,000 or 100,000 or 100 to 120,000 mile battery and drive unit warranty, depending on configuration. And of course, you can now buy an extension to that, or you can have an old car like mine. There are not too many of them left, but they still exist. That warranty does transfer between owners, so you can do that. But of course, that also means you're getting an S or an X, and well, as we've discussed, they've been canceled. Da, 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 da. Mileage was not a major concern for him, noting that the vehicle still remains under warranty and he plans to purchase extended coverage. Hurry up. And from where? Because unless the dealer was Tesla, you don't have the option to purchase extended coverage from Tesla. Range anxiety. 6 months in, Jimmy said he would make the same decision again with caveats. He emphasized that finding the right price by ensuring the remaining warranty coverage and having reliable access to charging were critical factors in his satisfaction. In that sense, Jimmy's video resonated not just because it declared victory over failure, but because it reflected the middle ground many EV owners occupy. The leap of faith, it turns out, doesn't always lead to regret, but it does come with a learning curve. Yeah. No comments on that one either. Moving on. What does it cost to drive a Tesla from NorCal to SoCal? Woman found out the hard way. I'm gonna guess that looks like the parking garage at one of the places I used to work. uh, there was never any parking if you were even minutes late. And by late, I don't mean late for work, but I mean late for morning crush. So let's see. 485 miles I didn't drive. Sounds like she was overcharged because of demand charges, peak charges. It almost looks green, like the color green. You know what though? I wonder if it's just the same vintage as that same parking garage we had. Anyway, drove from NorCal, SoCal, raised eyebrows. Records herself sitting cross-legged in the driver's seat while it's hard to do on Model 3, isn't it? Unless you're smaller in stature. Vehicle's full self-driving supervised is engaged. There are two components to her drive that are worth noting: the total cost of electric charging and the total miles involving FSD. Text overlay in the video about her drive from NorCal to SoCal. Road trip stats that she puts: 485 miles of driving over a 10-hour span. She says she spent $54.57 charging her EV for the journey. I don't know how much it's supposed to cost, but that sounds high. Oh, I don't know how much it's supposed to cost. I don't pay for road trip charging. Not yet, anyway. That'll go away soon. Not on this car, but eventually I'd see us having another car. Judging from the caption she appended to the video, she feels the money and time spent in the vehicle were well worth it. She clipped 485 miles, and I didn't even drive. Capping off the remark with an emoji sticking its tongue out, referring to the use of FSD. So that sounds like it would be cheaper than my Prius, the most expensive fuel rate that I owned it through. Might have been eggs she was making. I'm smelling like Asian fusion, Asian eggs. I mean, Asian fusion. She is Asian, so by fusion though I mean like maybe not one of the ones from her home, but just something she saw. Like, ooh, I like that. Done. Why I suspect it might not be from her home because, well, I've never smelled eggs like that before. And let's see. Another person said that the vehicle's FSD supervised implementation makes such slow highway speeds much more bearable. Yep. Vision-based monitoring. Okay, but you're talking about all this other stuff that's not the price of the trip. No hands on the wheel. They said that Blondie's clip didn't portray an actual depiction of how FSD actually works. Don't forget the nagging; it'll nag you to death to pay attention. Yeah, you got to pay attention, but you don't got to put your hands on the wheel on a Model 3 because it's watching you. It's always watching you. Someone else commented when I drove this 2026 Model Y with FSD, I kept having me apply pressure to the steering wheel. Then something was wrong. If it's a 26 Model Y, FSD having you touch the steering wheel, either it couldn't see your face or you had a setting not turned on. I drove a 20 Model Y, never touched the wheel. 20? No, 20. 22 Model Y, and never touched the wheel. And a bunch of Model 3s and never touched the wheel on the Model 3s either. Now, oh, yeah, there was the Plaid Model X I got to drive for a while. I did not touch the wheel on that one. That one spoiled me when I got back into my Model X because almost the same car. And, well, mine requires you to hold the wheel. Whereas, if I'm in a Model 3 or Model Y, it doesn't feel like my car. So, I mean, it's a lot easier to get over the mental model. Some people were amazed by how much she had to pay for the trip. One person wrote, $54 is crazy. My mom's hybrid can go 600 miles for only $30. Why is she charging so expensive? For comparison, another person said they were easily able to get from Stockton to Los Angeles in half the time. I'm good. I get to LA in 4.5 hours from Stockton in my Honda. I only spent 130 on a round trip. Ugh, 130. They were just complaining about 50. Others were also shocked at the amount of time it took her to drive from Northern and Southern California. Why did it take so long? Someone echoed 10 hours. Traffic? I mean, it looks like she's looking out the window. So if she's looking out the front window, then yeah, her car won't require her to keep touching the wheel. No cow. I know these are clickbait articles, but this is stupid. She didn't account for the cost of autonomous driving. Why? For this trip, she already had it. Might or might not add cost her anything. There are free trials, and it used to be an incentive. I got lifetime supercharging and autonomous with my purchase. No other cost of tire wear or the food she ate along the way. If you want to get nitpicky, uh, I guess this can happen. We do that run often with NP. It takes 30 minutes longer in our Model S than the Ford F-250, 600-mile range, as we eat while charging. Cost is close, but we choose the chargers. We choose our chargers, so it's a bit less for us. Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to say is that, if you are having to pay, you can look at the prices in the map, or you can look at third parties in PlugShare, and then it's more work, but you can save some money if you want to. The article did not mention how much less stress the Tesla is for the drive. Yes, some will not have less stress while the car is driving. Yeah, that's if you've got a kind of a nervous personality about it, or you're new to it. A woman plugs in Tesla with 110 miles of charge at Wawa. It immediately dies, locking her in. There was no air circulating. Let's see what kind of car this is. Okay, it's a Model Y. Press X for doubt. Nothing was working, not even the button to get out. There's a lever you can pull to get out. You don't need to push the button to get out. So it sounds like her 16-volt battery is not charging for whatever reason. I would imagine if it was a 12-volt battery, she would have been reminded a long time before then. Unless she's one of those people who just ignores all the messages on the screen. Model Y owner plugging in brand new Wawa charger, triggered an abrupt shutdown that left her asking how the car with plenty of range could suddenly go dark. Well, your 12-volt battery dies, and also you could have blown a fuse. Unlikely, the fuse thing. Especially since they have the self-resetting circuit breakers on 3 and Y. Guidance and warnings for Tesla owners that shares details for a 15-year-old son becoming temporarily trapped in the car and then locked out, despite several indications it was charged for over 100 miles of travel. I literally plugged it up, had about 110 miles on the drive, sat there for 3 seconds, and it stated vehicle power reduced, powering down. Yeah, it sounds like the battery died, the big battery. Why? Nothing was working, not even the button to get out. The video quickly struck a nerve with EV owners, many of whom were confused how a vehicle showing more than 100 miles of range could abruptly lose power. Brother, my Model X had 220 miles showing on the clock when I unplugged it from the supercharger, and it said power reduced, shutting down, and it did, and it didn't move. Uh, but that was an old battery, and there was nothing wrong with the battery. It was the BMS and the sensing cables. So since they had corroded, the vehicle could no longer determine that it was safe to operate, and it did the safe thing and said, "We're not going anywhere." So they towed me to the next state over and changed my battery. Several commenters pointed out the issue did not appear to involve the main high voltage battery that powers Tesla Model Y's drivetrain, but rather the vehicle's low voltage electric. So that's what I was saying earlier about the battery, but I don't usually get messages like that on the 12-volt or low voltage battery. Modern Teslas, like most electric vehicles, have a separate low voltage battery. Infotainment screens, largely unresponsive. Oh, but they do have a point though. The fact that the locks and the air stopped working does sound like the low voltage. In reply to commenters, Emma said that the technicians at Tesla service later attributed the failure to a charging port failure that shorted the low voltage system rather than a spontaneous battery failure. There we go. So I was right about a fuse going out. 12-volt battery debate. Viewers quickly flooded the comment with theories. So they were also right about being 12 volt, but she was not one of the few that sits there and ignores all the messages. 12-volt battery needs to be replaced. One commenter wrote, echoing the dozens of responses. Well, according to them, it was 12 volt, but it was not a 12-volt battery. Low voltage battery failures are a known issue across the automotive industry, and Tesla's acknowledged earlier lead acid units often need a replacement after 2 or 4 years of service, or less in the case of my Model X. 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. Sometimes I'd get more out of it, but usually 1 year. That's why I kept buying those lithium ones. Happy Sunday, Lee. Good to see you again over on this version of the stream. Emma Renee maintained that her vehicle had under 20,000 miles at the time, and Tesla replaced multiple components following the incident. She also emphasized that the charger itself was newly installed at a recently opened Wawa, raising questions about whether a fault during the charging handshake could have triggered the shutdown. That's possible. Yeah. A range failure or a systems issue. That's too much. It's not a fair criticism. Those rear door releases seem to be very non-intuitively located, and owner's manuals have gotten so long that pretty much one has to have the patience to read the whole thing, and that isn't the case. Tesla doesn't provide a paper copy, which means that in the event of an emergency knocks out the 12-volt system, you're not going to have a conveniently accessible manual to look it up in. They have it online. Howdy, Lee. Okay. Fair criticism, modern vehicles, but manual releases for the back door in the exact same place. In the bottom of the door pocket, that's where both the 3 and Y, yes, but not all 3s. Both my 6 and 9-year-old children know how to use this because I showed them, yes. People don't know where in the manual door trunk releases are in vehicles. Perhaps it's worth taking 10 seconds to ask AI and 30 seconds to helpfully show others, yeah. It's not the case that Tesla does not provide a paper copy of the car manual. I've had 2 of them and had no paper manual. I had to purchase 4 Teslas, and every one of them, including 2026 Model Y purchase, has a paper manual. Are you in a particular state that requires paper manuals? It sounds like it. Tesla also extends extra effort to allow you to access the entire manual effortlessly in their intuitive software interface on the main screen, which the previous commenter pointed was dead. One can easily access the entire manual at the Tesla web. Yep, that's true. Or you can ask Rock. The Wawa installation can't be all that new. Tesla's been installing the tall black and white V4 dispensers for the past 2 years. Well, they could have moved it or expanded it. They don't necessarily all the long cables. Interesting. Okay, that's enough of this one. And let's look at this one here. The small Skoda might be one of Europe's most popular EVs. Well, not with that wrap job, that's for sure. It's called the Epic by Skoda. That's cute. Tease the upcoming Epic electric crossover with camouflage prototype photos. The model is built on the MEB Plus platform that underpins the VW ID, Polo, Cross, and Cupra Raval. The Skoda Epic will go on sale later this year with a starting price of 25,000 euros, or 28.9 US. Oh, thank you. Like others, the Epic rides on gallery. It may not look particularly aerodynamic, but Skoda says the Epic has a drag coefficient of just 0.275. It's very good for something that looks like an SUV and helps the vehicle post strong range results even with relatively small batteries. The base cars come with a 38.5 kilowatt hour LFP pack. Really? Wow. Usable capacity of just 37 kilowatt hours and either 114 or 133 horsepower. WLTP range of 196 miles. And for both power outputs. Okay. Long range Epic has a larger 55 kilowatt hour nickel metal manganese cobalt pack at 51.7, oh, sorry, 51.7 kilowatt hours usable, which pushes the claimed range to 267 miles of range. Okay. So you have choice if you know you drive a lot or if you know you don't drive a lot. There we go. Let's just go to one of the Tesla sites real quick to make sure I'm not missing anything. Tesla already has a complete robotaxi model and doesn't depend on passenger count. Rumored SpaceX AI merger gets confirmation from Elon, apparently. Giga Texas to feature massive Optimus V4 production line. That's the part why I don't understand. Why are they shutting down the S and X line if Giga Texas is going to make the robots? Massive investment in XAI. Starship V3 gets launch date from Elon. Or are they discussing merger with XAI? Another vehicle, not S and X, should be discontinued. The Model 3. I'm going to guess Cybertruck, though. Oh, yeah, there's Cybertruck in the picture. Major milestone with full self-driving subscriptions. The man is trying to get paid. Confirmed robotaxi expansion plans with new cities and aggressive timeline. Cybercab spotted with interesting charging location solution, stimulating discussion. So basically, down here under the left reflector and the bumper is a NACS port on these prototypes, even though the cars are supposed to be wirelessly charged exclusively. Yeah, my thoughts are that they may even have the wireless receivers on board, but it's a lot quicker to just build a couple of them with the charge ports, or even all of them, and just get the wireless charging as it becomes available. Firm said it finally solved its 4680 battery dry cathode process. Really? Supercharging is a safety feature in the US. Interesting. LG pursuing battery deal for Optimus. As long as they're not pouches, you don't have to worry about Optimus catching fire in your house. Boring Company opens Vegas newest station. We talked about that on this live show. Major milestone, full self-driving subscriptions. Merger, Optimus. Gains favor as Pentagon embraces Musk-style defense reform. Lufthansa to equip Starlink on its 850 aircraft fleet. Musk trolls budget airline after refuses Starlink on its planes. So from what I understand on this one is that yes, when your customers are super cheap, that 1% fuel cost does add up if you're going to add 1% fuel cost and not see the revenue from people renting Wi-Fi. So they're not wrong, but it sounds stupid the way the guy said it. I think that'll be enough from here. Tesla brings closure to flagships at the pencil models, Musk confirms. Already has a complete robotaxi model. Custom lock sounds. All right, I want to see more about that supercharging safety. Let's go there first. What's the concerns owners have if they need to leave in a pinch? It's also a suitable alternative for non-Tesla chargers, like third-party options that feature J1772 or CCS to NACS adapters. Feature's been available in Europe for some time, but is now rolling out to Model 3 and Y owners in the US. Software update 2026.2.3. I did just get this one. It said minor fixes because I have an old car. Tesla's launching the unlatching charging cable function, which will now utilize the left rear door handle to release the charging cable from the port. I'm not seeing the safety feature from this just yet. I was thinking they were saying it was like kind of like the EV Ject. Charging can now be stopped and the charge cable released by pulling and holding the left rear door handle for 3 seconds provided the vehicle is unlocked and a recognized key is nearby. This is especially useful when the charge cable doesn't have an unlatch button. Okay, so it's safety on non-Tesla chargers, or if you happen to find one that's broken in some way, you can still release the cable using the vehicle touchscreen or the app. Yeah, it's especially nice for those who commonly charge at third-party locations that utilize plugs that are not NACs. For example, plugging into a J1772 charger, you're still required to unlock the port through the touchscreen, which is a minor inconvenience. I don't know that I would have classed it as a safety feature, but yeah, I can see how. Just hold the trunk button on the fob for 3 seconds. Yeah, if you have a fob. Use your phone. Yeah, that works too. The phone is how I unlock the port 95% of the time. All chargers should have a cable release button, preferably with a remote option. So you reach back behind the driver's seat and pull the left rear door emergency handle lever for 3 seconds, and that will automatically release the charger from the car, presumably making the charger fall to the ground. Do I have that right? Nope, that's EV checked. You don't need to go to a screen function first. And will the back door not open when you do this? I'm confused. Sorry. Works better from outside the car, and the car does not have actuators to push the cable out. That's true. I didn't say anything about emergency door release, just the regular outside door handle. But yeah, does the door open? That is a good question, though. Does the door open on you and you still got to hold it? I don't think the cable will fall to the ground. Imagine you have to remove it like you normally would. The article is a bit confusing. It states if they need to leave in a pinch, which is implying this is an answer to the emergency release charger that some people have said is needed. And at least one company designed and sold. Tesla has issues with them, at least at first. So this, I guess, is just some sort of charger cord release option that the cord doesn't come out easily like the standard Tesla cords. Joey, care to chime in on this one? And you all are right to call him out. That was a wonky but title. LG is pursuing battery deal for Optimus. LG in talk with Tesla for humanoid robot battery supply. Multiple Chinese robot companies. Tesla's key focus. What's on his face? What is that? Why is there a star in his mouth? Optimus needs to keep moving forward. LG is the primary battery suppliers. Yeah, they are. They even committed to making 4680s and building a factory for them in Oklahoma. It would be news if LG was not seeking to supply batteries for Optimus. Yeah. I wonder what typical battery life for Optimus might be. I wouldn't be surprised if initially charging is required after every hour for operation, or even less. It depends. Optimus has a 2.3 kilowatt hour battery pack, which can last approximately 8 hours of operation under typical working conditions. You can also self-charge by navigating to a dock. The other obvious question is, how much does this thing weigh? A lot. If it loses its balance, what sort of dent in the hardwood floor or broken countertop? Does it put on shoes or go outdoors? Interesting. I would hope so. You could put some sort of outdoor coverings on it, or indoor slippers. Oh, that guy's doing the USB part. I was like, what's that little chip in his hand? Battery life is all about use cases. The existing use case for Optimus included some of the movements. Red carpet event is not long. Fail popcorn. And water dispensing duties, where it'd be fine if plugged in to a nearby outlet. Anyway. Tesla confirms it finally solved its 4680 batteries dry cathode process. This suggests that the company has finally resolved its most challenging aspects of its next generation battery cells. Got dry cathode 4680 cells. In the Q4 25 update, Tesla stated that it is now producing 4680 cells whose anode and cathode were produced using the dry cathode process. Okay. That's how they knew. Also, they did say on the call that they're putting 4680 cells in non-structural packs, which means that not just Cybertruck or that structural Model Y are getting it. Disclosure that both electrodes use a dry process. Well, there you go. Tesla first introduced the dry cathode concept, electrode concept, during its Battery Day presentation, 2020. Both electrodes using a dry process. 4680 packs for Model Y. Tesla also revealed Q4 FY update letter that has begun producing battery packs for certain Model Y vehicles using in-house 4680 cells. Basically, just ones at Texas, probably. We've begun to produce battery packs for certain Model Ys, unlocking additional vector of supply to help navigate increasingly complex supply chain challenges caused by trade barriers and tariff risks. The timing is notable. Tesla's preparing to wind down Model S and X production, and Model Y and Model 3 are expected to account for an even larger share of the company's vehicle output. Ensuring that the Y can be produced domestically with 4680 packs gives Tesla greater flexibility to maintain production volumes in the States, even as global battery supply battery supply chains face increasing complexity. Interesting. Ooh, 82 comments on this one. All right, we're not going to wade into that fight. Let's go on to the next one. Tesla analyst claims another vehicle should be on the block, not S and X. And I'm guessing Cybertruck. Gary Black says that the company is making a big mistake by getting rid of the S and X. Instead, he believes another vehicle should be discontinued, the Cybertruck. But what are they going to put on that line? Black divested the future fund from all Tesla holdings last year, but he still covers the stock as an analyst as it falls in the technology and autonomy sectors, which he covers. 10,000 units last year. Cybertruck has negative brand equity, strong repeat brand loyalty. Together sold 30,000 units, highly profitable. Conflicting perspectives. Many Tesla fans upset about the decision. Yep. S and X do not fit those plans. Nevertheless, Cybertruck fits Tesla's future plans. Musk said the pickup will be needed for transportation of local goods. Yeah, it's a pickup truck. Thank goodness he's not in charge or has any influence over their decision making. Recipe sexy. Oh. There's an argument with the spammer. Cybertruck, Cybercab, semi in the mix. We can make an acronym out of that, yeah. All right. Let's call this the last one for the day. Give me some calories. Tesla already has a complete robotaxi model, and it doesn't depend on passenger count. The scenario was discussed during the company's Q4 call, where executives explained why the majority of robotaxi rides will involve only one or two people. But that still doesn't solve the issue of if you've got multiple kids, more than two, and more than two chaperones or parents. Yeah, that's not all the rides. During the QA portion, the president of Lars said that 90% of vehicle miles traveled involve two or fewer passengers. This is true. He noted that this directly informs the design of the cab. Elon expanded at one point, emphasizing that there is no fallback for Tesla. Tesla's bet on the Cybercab's autonomous design. He reiterated the autonomous two-seaters production is expected to start in April, and noted that over time, Tesla expects to produce far more Cybercabs than all of its other vehicles combined. We'll see. Just to add what Laura said, I point that 90% of the miles driven are one or two passengers. That essentially is the important one. So this is clearly there's no fallback mechanism here. It's like the car either drives itself or does not. We expect over time far more Cybercabs than all of our other vehicles combined, given that 90% of the distance driven is travels exactly, no longer driving. He's hard to listen to, let alone read his direct quotes. uh, Robotaxi lineup is already here. I mean, you've got the van, and you've got the cybercab, and you've got the cybertruck. So yeah, Tesla does not need cybercab to serve every possible. And if you got the Model Y today, yeah, every possible scenario, simply because the company already has a functional robotaxi model that scales by vehicle type. Cybercab will handle the bulk of the robotaxi network's trips, but for groups that need 3 or 4 seats, the Model Y fills that role. Higher end or family use, there's extended wheelbase Model Y. Eventually, it's not in there yet. And then you've got the bus. And we still got Model X, whatever's left over. Provided that Elon greenlights the vehicle for North America and even larger groups of commercial transport, Tesla already has unveiled the Robo Van, which could seat over 10 people. They said more than that, but they say a lot of stuff. Rather than forcing one vehicle to satisfy every use case, Tesla's approach mirrors how transportation works today. Different vehicles will be used for different needs. We shall see. Safe stress. Subscribe to your daily commute. Save your car. Do rideshare with your Optimus. Not a common agreement, but interesting observation. I'm not clicking on that. Strategy is killer, and the numbers are rock solid. Surprise. There's no strategy and no numbers to back it up unless you want to count the large number of. Okay. It amazes me that the dude with 14 kids can't grasp the need to be able to transport more than 2 people at a time continuously. If you truly believe the world is going to move to transportation as a service, then it's incredibly dumb not to realize the majority of families have children. I certainly can believe the majority of your current ride hailing is 2 or fewer people because people with children would take their own vehicle. But that would change dramatically in a Tesla as a service world. Just look at the demand for 3-row, 7-seater SUVs and minivans, and you can see that there is a need. And Jumping Jack says he did grasp that need, as the RoboVan has a capacity of 20 in case his current and future kids ever meet in person. If you have fewer than 14 kids, RoboVan may seem like a waste of money, so now it's a good time to quickly have more. I'll add one more thought to this. Point-to-point rides in a 2-person robotaxi will serve the bulk of the. Yes, absolutely. But a significant market will also be daily, weekly rentals of a. Maybe. I don't think that you'll want to hang on to it for that long with the rates they'll need to charge. The ability to easily and cheaply rent the type of vehicle you need will be only for the period you need. Nah. Wondering who will be the target customer for the Cybercab. Is it true that most of the rides have 2 beds? So potentially the customer should be a taxi company, but it should also build wireless charging infrastructure and hope that customer will choose their service and believe that everything will work fine. Most likely it takes time before the company start to buy cybercabs. Target customers, no one. They haven't sold a ton to me. I would say no one because they don't plan to sell them. They're going to keep them for themselves. But just like the semi, you show people the numbers and businesses will be able to figure it out. Yeah, so that's enough of that. And so, like I said, this will be the last one. I'm going to get some calories, and we will see you guys Monday for the Tesla Life Show Express, and Wednesday for the Tesla Life Show Live. And thank you, everybody, for coming today and following through both of these little where the show got split for whatever reason. And I want to thank our channel members and thank our channel members for the monetary contributions that help buy the software and also are going to help me engineer around this solution. And we'll catch you on the flip side. I want to thank everybody else for spending your Sunday with me. So catch you on the flip side.